Hope it won't be painful. After the process.
It should be fine, just a mild sensation.
Look at her big backside.
In the bustling streets of Lagos, where beauty is worshipped and curves are seen as a crown, one woman's dream became her greatest downfall. Bisola, a talented fashion designer, wanted nothing more than to be noticed, to be loved, to be respected. But in chasing the body she thought would change her life, she discovered a truth far darker than she ever imagined. This is Folktales by Chisom, stories that shock, inspire, and teach powerful lessons. Stay tuned, like, and subscribe. Now, let's dive in. The hum of Lagos was never quiet. Even at dawn, Lekki buzzed with the sound of impatient drivers honking at danfus, hawkers balancing baskets of puff-puff on their heads. For most, this noise was the rhythm of survival. For Bisola, it was the rhythm of her dreams. At just 28 years old, she had carved a small space for herself as a fashion designer. Her shop sat neatly tucked in a corner of Admiralty Way, painted a soft cream with her name written boldly, Bisola Couture. Inside, mannequins wore gowns she had sewn through sleepless nights, each stitch a reflection of her talent. Yet no matter how brilliant her designs were, there was one thing she could not design, one thing she could not sew: her body. Bisola was naturally slender, slim shoulders, flat hips, long legs. She had always thought her frame elegant, but in Lagos, where curves were treated like diamonds, elegance was not enough. Clients came into her boutique, admired her dresses, and then often left with words that stabbed deeper than a knife. It would look better on someone with more shape. This gown needs hips. Without hips, it falls flat. Every insult became a seed of doubt in Bisola's heart. That Monday morning, a high-profile client, Madame Tinula, came for her final fitting. Madame Tinu was the wife of a senator, known in Lagos for her flamboyant parties and wide hips that swang like a pendulum. She slipped into the gown Bisola had sewn, turned before the mirror, and frowned. "Bisola," she said, lips pursed, "your designs are good, but look at you. Your body doesn't even sell your own work. Clothes need shape. How do you expect clients to trust your designs if you cannot carry them yourself?" It words like thunderclaps. The woman removed the gown, tossed it back at Bisola, and swept out with her assistants trailing behind. The sound of her heels echoed louder than the traffic outside. Bisola was left standing, her hands shaking, the gown crumpled in her arms. When the shop finally closed that evening, Bisola walked alone along the Lekki Bridge, staring at her reflection in the water. She imagined curves where there were none. She imagined likes flooding her Instagram if she posed in her own gowns with the body of the women she envied. She imagined love, respect, clients, fame. Her heart throbbed with desperation. That night, she scrolled through Instagram. Influencers filled her feed. Women with flawless skin, cinched waists, hips and backsides that curved like the roads of Ikoyi. Their captions glowed. "New body, new me. #BBL journey. #softlife." One particular influencer, Zara Gold, had just returned from Turkey. Her body looked sculpted, her photos taken at a rooftop bar overlooking Victoria Island. Thousands of comments poured in. "Body goals, teach us your ways, queen." Bisola's eyes burned with longing. If Zara can do it, why not me? That next day, Over a plate of jollof rice, her best friend Amaka noticed her distracted stare. Bisola, talk to me. You've been restless. What's going on? Bisola forced a smile. Nothing, Amaka, just work. But Amaka wasn't fooled. She leaned closer. Don't tell me you're thinking what I think you're thinking. Bisola, please, don't let this body craze control you. You're talented. You're beautiful the way you are. Bisola dropped her spoon. Amaka, talent doesn't sell in Lagos. Shape does. Nobody wants a flat fashion designer. They want curves that bring their dresses alive. Her mother, who had been listening quietly from across the table, sighed heavily. My daughter, listen to your friend. This body you want to change, it carried you since you were born. Do not insult it because of Instagram. Exercise if you must, eat well, but do not take shortcuts. Shortcuts always cut deep. Bisola heard them, but their words felt like whispers against the roar of her insecurity. She smiled weakly, changed the subject, but deep inside, a storm was brewing. Later that evening, while waiting for an Uber after meeting a client, she overheard two young women giggling by the roadside. They were admiring a lady stepping out of a Range Rover. The woman wore a fitted gown, her hips stretching the fabric like an artist's canvas. One of the girls whispered, "That's Dr. Kamara's work. Sharp man, cheapest and fastest in Lagos." Bisola's heart skipped. Dr. Kamara? She pretended not to listen, but her ears stretched to catch every word. He doesn't even have to travel abroad. He does everything here in Ikeja. Just bring money, and in 2 weeks, you'll be new. The Uber arrived, but Bisola barely noticed. Her mind was already working, pulling the threads of temptation together. That night, lying in bed, she whispered into the darkness, Maybe this is my chance.
The following week, Lagos felt heavier on Bisola's shoulders. Every billboard seemed to mock her. Glowing women with sculpted figures modeling clothes she could have designed herself. Every boutique she passed felt like a reminder that her own designs were being ignored because of her frame. At the shop, clients came in pairs, mothers and daughters, sisters and friends. They tried on dresses, laughing, posing before mirrors. Each time Bisola noticed how the fabric clung to their hips and curves. Each time her chest tightened. When the women complimented her designs, but quickly asked if she had them in body-shaped styles, she forced a smile, but bled inside. One Thursday afternoon, her apprentice Kemi burst into the shop, phone in hand. Auntie Bisola, come and see. Zara Gold is hosting a fashion night this Saturday at the Monarch in Lekki. All the influencers will be there. Bisola looked up sharply. Zara Gold, the very woman who had fueled her longing, was now hosting an event just minutes from her boutique. Bisola's heart raced. Maybe this was her chance to network, to place her designs on the right bodies. But at the back of her mind, she thought of Zara's transformation and how much it had elevated her brand. Should I go? She murmured. That Saturday, Bisola dressed in a gown of her own creation, sleek red satin with daring slits. She walked into the event hall head high, but her confidence cracked when she saw the women around her. Every corner glittered with influencers, shimmering skin, hair extensions that fell like rivers, and bodies that swayed like art. Zara Gold was the star. Cameras followed her, fans pressed forward for selfies. She wore a fitted silver gown that hugged her new curves like second skin. When she laughed, it echoed across the hall like music. Bisola clutched her wine glass tighter. She imagined herself in Zara's place, admired, envied, celebrated. Just then, a fashion blogger she knew brushed past her. Bisola, your designs are lovely, but you self need to work on your body. You can't sell what you don't have. The words were casual, but they landed like fire in Bisola's chest. She smiled faintly, but inside she broke again. Later that night, as she waited for her ride home, she found herself beside two women whispering, "Na Dr. Kamara do Zara's body, you know. He's the best. No stress, no traveling, just money and courage." "Are you serious? But I heard he doesn't even have a license." "Who cares? Look at Zara now. Do you think she's complaining?" Bisola's ears pricked. Again, that name, Dr. Kamara. Like a shadow stalking her dreams, it refused to leave. The following day, she visited Amaka. Her best friend's small apartment in Surulere always smelled of stew and had gospel music playing softly in the background. Amaka was folding laundry when Bisola blurted out, "Amaka, what do you think about body enhancement?" Amaka's eyes widened. "Enhancement? As in surgery?" "Bisola, don't tell me you're still thinking of that nonsense." "It's not nonsense. Do you know how many clients I've lost because of my body? Do you know how many designers with less talent are winning just because they have hips and bad side? This Lagos is not for the weak." Amaka dropped the clothes and faced her squarely. "Bisola, I know Lagos can pressure you, but please don't do this. Those things are risky. Do you want to lose your life because of curves? Exercise, eat well, do it naturally if you must, but don't gamble with your body." For a moment, Bisola softened. She remembered her mother's warning too, but then she remembered Zara at the Monarch, the lights, the cameras, the praise. That image drowned every warning. The breaking point came a week later. A senator's wife, Madame Funke, came into Bisola's boutique to order custom gowns for her birthday. After trying one on, she sighed. The dress is nice, but you, the designer, don't inspire confidence. Look at your body, straight like broom. If I wear your gowns, people will say I chose a tailor who doesn't even know how to dress her own shape." The insult cut deeper than any knife. After Madame Funke left, Bisola locked the shop and wept quietly. By evening, her decision was made. She remembered the whispers, the name that haunted her, Dr. Kamara. She picked up her phone, dialed the contact she had collected at Zara's event and whispered, "Please, can you connect me to him?" The voice on the other end chuckled. "Ah, Bisola, you won't regret this. Dr. Kamara is the answer to your prayers." Bisola's hand trembled as she ended the call. Deep inside, a voice still begged her to stop, to reconsider. But her desperation roared louder. "This is it," she whispered. "This is my only chance." The contact came through faster than Bisola expected. Within 2 days, she received a message on WhatsApp with an address and instructions. "Come alone. Bring cash. Do not discuss with anyone." The address was tucked deep inside Ikeja GRA, in a residential area where tall gates and bougainvillea hedges shielded lives of wealth and secrecy. When Bisola arrived in an Uber that Saturday afternoon, her palms were slick with sweat. She wore sunglasses and a scarf, though the Lagos sun burned hot above her head. She told herself it was for disguise, but the truth was, shame weighed heavier than heat. The gate she stopped at was tall, black, and silent. She pressed the buzzer. A man's voice crackled through the intercom. "Name?" "Bisola." The gate slid open slowly, revealing a paved driveway lined with neat palm trees. At the end of the drive stood a modern duplex, painted in ash and white. But something felt off. The curtains were drawn too tightly, the windows too dark. As she stepped inside, the air smelled faintly of antiseptic and something else, something metallic and hidden. In the lounge, she met him, Dr. Kamara. He was tall, in his early 40s, with a trimmed beard and a smile that stretched wide but never reached his eyes. He wore a white coat, though no stethoscope hung around his neck. His voice was smooth, practiced, like a man who had convinced many before her. "Ah, Bisola, you've come to the right place. I know why you are here. Don't be nervous. I change lives. Bisola's throat tightened. I want curves, hips, backside, something that makes me noticed. He chuckled. Of course. Lagos is a city of appearances. With the right body, doors will open for you. Clients, fame, money, all at your feet. And the good thing, you don't need surgery abroad. I can do it here, safe, discreet, and quick. He led her down a corridor into a room. It was clean, yes, but not like a hospital. No blinking machines, no sterile walls. Instead, a massage bed covered in fresh sheets stood in the center. On a nearby table lay syringes, tubes, and small bottles with clear liquid. What's in it? Bisola asked nervously. Silicone-based filler, completely safe, gives instant results. Abroad, they will charge you millions of naira, but here, you only need 500,000 naira. Pay today, and by tomorrow, you will be reborn. Bisola's breath quickened. She thought of her mother's warnings, Amaka's pleading words, but then she remembered Madame Tinu's insults, Madame Funke's rejection, Zara gold silver gown shining under Lekki lights. She swallowed hard. I will do it. The money left her trembling hands and disappeared into his drawer. Dr. Kamara nodded at a nurse-like assistant who had appeared silently, her face hidden behind a mask. They guided Bisola onto the bed. The room felt colder now. The hum of an old AC filled the silence as needles pierced her skin. Bisola clenched her fists, biting her lip to keep from crying out. She told herself, this pain is temporary. The reward will last forever. Minutes stretched into an eternity. Finally, it was done. Dr. Kamara handed her a small mirror. Bisola gasped. The change was immediate. Her hips rounded, her backside fuller. The fabric of her gown stretched in ways it never had before. For the first time in her life, she looked like the women she envied. Tears blurred her vision. I look beautiful. Dr. Kamara smiled thinly. You are reborn, my dear. But remember, do not tell anyone where you did this. Come back in 2 weeks for a checkup, and whatever happens, do not panic. Some swelling is normal. That night, Bisola stood before her mirror at home. She turned left, then right, admiring the body that stared back at her. For hours, she posed, tried on her gowns, danced to the sound of Burna Boy playing on the radio. She took dozens of selfies, choosing the most flattering one to post on Instagram. New beginnings. #GlowUp. Boss Lady. By morning, the likes had tripled her usual numbers. Comments flooded in. Body goals. Bisola, are you hiding something? Her phone buzzed non-stop. She received messages from potential clients, including one boutique owner in Victoria Island who wanted her to design an entire collection. Bisola laughed and cried at once. She felt powerful, desired, unstoppable. But deep inside, hidden beneath the glow of her phone screen, a small voice whispered, "At what cost?" By Monday morning, Bisola's phone was a glowing altar of validation. Her Instagram post had crossed 5,000 likes, the highest in her page's history. Comments poured in from strangers and acquaintances alike. Finally, this is your time, Bisola. Girl, your body sells your work. I want 3 gowns. DM me. For years, she had begged people to notice her designs. Now, they noticed her. And with that attention came new clients. Within a week, she booked 3 fittings from high-paying women who claimed they had discovered her through Instagram. The boutique transformed overnight. Where once it had been a quiet corner shop, now it thrummed with energy. New customers streamed in, eager to buy from the designer with the curves. Bisola displayed her gowns on herself, modeling them for clients.
Dresses that once hung lifeless on her slender frame now curved dramatically around her hips and backside. Every glance in the mirror felt like confirmation. I made the right choice. Her apprentice, Kemi, was the first to notice the difference. "Auntie, these clothes look hotter on you now. Before, you were slim like spaghetti. Now you look like those Instagram babes." Bisola laughed, though the words carried a bittersweet sting. Still, she brushed it aside. At last, her gown sold faster than she could sew. One Saturday evening, she attended another event at the Monarch Hotel. But this time, she didn't slip in quietly. She walked in wearing a golden mermaid gown of her own making, her body swaying in curves that caught every eye. Cameras turned. Influencers glanced, then whispered. Men stared. Bisola felt the power surge through her veins. Zara Gold herself spotted her and waved her over. "Babe, you look stunning. Who designed this dress?" "I did," Bisola answered with a smile. "Eh? You're a designer? Girl, you are going places. We should collaborate." The compliment was like champagne in Bisola's chest. A week ago, she was invisible. Tonight, Zara Gold, the woman who had inspired her envy, was calling her an equal. By the end of the month, Bisola was featured in a lifestyle blog, "The Designer Who Dresses Herself to Success." The article praised her new figure as the secret weapon behind her business growth. It was everything she had prayed for. But beneath the glitter, cracks had already begun to form. It started with a faint sting. At first, Bisola dismissed it as normal. After all, Dr. Kamara had said swelling was expected. She ignored the occasional soreness when she sat for too long or when she bent to adjust a hemline. Painkillers dulled the ache. She told herself it was nothing. But some nights, the pain clawed deeper. She would lie awake, beads of sweat rolling down her forehead, her curves throbbing like a wound hidden under silk. She shifted positions, gritted her teeth, and whispered to herself, "It's worth it. It's worth it." Her mother noticed first. "Bisola, you are looking tired these days. Are you eating well?" "I'm fine, Mama," Bisola lied. "Business is just booming, that's all." But even Amaka grew suspicious. When she visited the shop one afternoon, she noticed Bisola wincing as she bent over to pick up fabric. "Are you okay?" Amaka pressed. "Of course," Bisola replied quickly, forcing a smile. "I just need rest." Amaka studied her, worry etched on her face, but she said nothing more. Despite the pain, Bisola could not stop chasing the spotlight. She posted new photos weekly, each more glamorous than the last, on rooftops, by poolside lounges, at art galleries. Each post drew more clients, more fame. Her boutique was booked solid for months. One evening, while reviewing invoices, she caught her reflection in the mirror. The golden glow of her curves almost blinded her to the truth. She whispered to herself, "This is the woman I always wanted to be. Beautiful, powerful, desired." She did not notice the small swelling beginning to distort her left hip. By the time she did, it was too late. The first time Bisola noticed the swelling, she was getting dressed for a client meeting. She slipped into one of her fitted gowns, but when she turned in the mirror, her left hip bulged awkwardly, the seam straining unnaturally. She frowned, tugged at the fabric, and told herself it was just weight gain. With a quick adjustment, she masked it well enough to step out. But the pain was harder to hide. It started as a dull ache, like a bruise pressed too long.
Soon, it sharpened into stabbing pangs whenever she walked or sat for long. Painkillers helped for a while, but the relief never lasted. Some nights, she woke up drenched in sweat, her body shaking with fever. She dialed Dr. Kamara's number. Once, twice, 10 times. The number you are trying to call is not reachable. Confused and anxious, she drove back to the Ikeja address, heart pounding. The gate that once opened with authority now stood ajar, the compound eerily quiet. She pushed it open and stepped into the driveway. The house was empty. No nurse, no equipment, no faint antiseptic smell. The curtains were gone, the rooms bare. Her chest tightened. No. She had been scammed. Still, Bisola clung to denial. Maybe he moved. Maybe he would call back. But as days passed, the swelling worsened. Red patches crept across her skin. Even Kemi, her apprentice, noticed her limp. "Auntie, are you okay? Should I get water?" "I'm fine," Bisola snapped, forcing a smile. "Focus on the cutting." She told no one. Not her mother, not Amaka. She covered her pain with bold dresses and Instagram smiles. Business was booming too much to slow down. The breaking point came one evening at a high-end restaurant in Victoria Island. She was meeting a potential investor, a wealthy businesswoman who admired her fashion line. Bisola arrived in a stunning black velvet gown she had designed herself. She forced herself to smile through the sharp pain gnawing at her side. The meeting started well. They sipped wine, discussed fabric imports and future runway shows. But halfway through, Bisola felt heat rushing through her body. Her vision blurred. The room spun. She tried to steady herself, but her legs buckled. Gasps filled the restaurant. Plates clattered. Someone shouted, "She's fainting!" Bisola collapsed onto the floor, her head striking the marble tiles. When she opened her eyes, she was in a hospital bed. The white light above her was blinding. Amaka's face hovered close, tear-streaked and frantic. "Bisola, you're awake. Oh God, thank you." Bisola tried to speak, but her lips were dry. Her body burned with fever. The sheets were damp with her sweat. A doctor stepped into view, his expression grave. "Miss Bisola, we ran tests. What was injected into you is not medical silicone. It's industrial substance, toxic, dangerous. It's spreading fast. If we don't operate immediately, the infection could reach your bloodstream. It could kill you." The words hit like thunder. Bisola shook her head weakly. No, it can't be." The doctor continued, his tone firm. "We have to cut it out, all of it. That means removing the injections and infected tissue. You will be left with scars. Your curves will not survive." Bisola broke. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Her mother sat by her side now, holding her hand, eyes filled with disappointment and sorrow. "My daughter, why didn't you listen?" Amaka squeezed her other hand. "You should have told me, Bisola. We could have stopped this before it got this bad." Bisola sobbed. I just wanted to be beautiful. I wanted people to notice me." Her mother stroked her hair. "You are always beautiful, but now you must fight for your life." That night, Bisola was wheeled into emergency surgery. The bright lights of the operating room blurred as the anesthesia took hold. Her last thought before drifting into darkness was the image of her Instagram page, the likes, the comments, the validation, all slipping away like smoke. When Bisola awoke, the world was quieter. The sharp fever that once burned her veins had eased, but in its place was a deep ache across her hips and thighs. She tried to sit up, but a sharp sting pulled her back against the pillows. Her hand drifted downward.
fingers brushing the thick bandages wrapped around her waist. A cold realization washed over her. The curves she had sacrificed everything for were gone. The door creaked open. Amaka came in with a small food flask in her hands, her eyes swollen from crying, but her smile gentle. "You are awake. Thank God." Behind her, Bisola's mother followed, clutching a rosary. She moved closer and kissed her daughter's forehead. "The surgery saved your life, my child. But the doctors had to remove everything. You will carry scars now, but scars are better than a grave." Bisola closed her eyes. Hot tears rolled down her cheeks, soaking the pillow. Scars. No curves. No validation. Nothing but emptiness. The weeks that followed were the hardest of her life. She could no longer walk without limping. Physiotherapy became her new daily routine. The mirror in her room mocked her. Her body slimmer than before, her hips uneven, red marks etching her skin like painful tattoos. She spiraled into silence. Days passed with her curtains drawn, her phone face down. Her boutique nearly collapsed as Kemi tried to manage clients alone, but through it all, Amaka stayed. She cooked, cleaned, and whispered encouragements. "Your talent hasn't gone anywhere, Bisola. You can sew with or without curves. You are still you." Her mother, too, prayed by her bedside every night. "God gave you life a second time. Use it wisely."
One morning, months later, Bisola sat before the mirror again. For the first time, she forced herself to really look. The scars were there, angry, permanent reminders of her choices. She traced them with trembling fingers. At first, shame rose in her chest, but then, unexpectedly, something else bloomed. Strength. "These scars," she whispered, "are proof I survived." With that thought, she reopened her boutique. Clients were shocked to see her thinner, but her design still dazzled. Slowly, business picked up again. And when curious whispers about her body surfaced, Bisola made a bold choice. She told the truth. She began to share her story online, anonymously at first. The dangers of cheap enhancements in Lagos. Her words spread quickly. Women commented, thanking her for her honesty. Some admitted they had considered the same path, but changed their minds after reading her warnings. Soon, Bisola dropped the mask of anonymity. She appeared in a video, her face bare, her scars visible. Her voice trembled, but her eyes held fire. "I nearly lost my life chasing curves. Don't make the same mistake. You don't need to risk your body to be worthy." The video went viral. Bloggers shared it. TV stations reached out. She was invited to speak at women's health forums and fashion events. Her greatest comeback came when she unveiled a new fashion line, Lagos Battle Scars. The collection celebrated all body types, slim, curvy, tall, short, and used bold cuts and fabrics that symbolized resilience. At the launch, models with different shapes walked the runway proudly, including one with visible scars similar to Bisola's. The audience erupted in applause. As Bisola stood backstage, tears filled her eyes, but this time they were not from pain. Months later, she sat on a Lagos morning show, her scars visible in a sleeveless gown of her own making. The host leaned in with admiration. "Bisola, many women hide after such an ordeal, but you've turned your pain into power. What message do you want to leave today?" Bisola smiled, her voice steady. "True beauty is not in the curves we chase, but in the courage to embrace ourselves. My scars remind me that I survived Lagos, and that survival is beautiful." The audience clapped. Cameras flashed. For the first time, Bisola didn't care about curves, likes, or whispers.
She cared about her story, her talent, her truth, and that, at last, was enough.